Yeah,
What?
same. I just Emmy's here. Hello, Emmy.
Hi,
Hello,
Emmy.
And art fight. Did someone say art fight? Did someone say art
Art
fight?
Yeah.
Is there an art fight?
No, it's why I'm updating the. It's why I'm updating.
Oh, you did say art fight. That's great. That's great.
I'm sorry, Snowbiz. I'm so sorry. We were doing a Q&A.
How's everyone coming in? Are we for the good people in the audience? Are we coming in okay? I see the Isaac sad face, which yes, okay. Max says we sound good. We sound crisp.
Oh,
We
hello,
sound
Max. And thank you, Snowbiz.
ready.
All right. Are you guys ready to get into it?
No, it's not. It's not 6:30 yet.
Crispy bacon. Delicious. Well, I am doing art fight at this what's it called?
Do you want to pitch art fight for 2
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah, literally. I am doing art fight this year. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. I do fight for fight because I'm just getting started. I did it last year, but I joined way too late.
What is for myself? What is art fight?
Oh my God, okay, so art fight is through the month of July. It's basically like a community-driven art share project. So if you join, you get randomly assigned a team, and then you can fight someone. If you're someone on another team, they'll draw a picture of one of your characters or a couple of your characters, and you can fight them back. You're not obligated to, but you'll get points for doing it. And it's just a nice, fun way to basically share art with a bunch of new people. It's really cool.
Now, when you say fight, do you mean like physical fight or like art fight?
Oh no, you have to go out back and really duke them out, and then when you're done, and if your hands aren't broken, you can go draw a picture together.
And then do you like get to like I'm sorry, do you get to like pick specific tools? Like to like bring into the fight, like how like sometimes you like choose your weapon.
No, it's like
because that could be like a done deal. Like you got X-Acto knives, and that's
it's art fight. You got to use your fingers exclusively, no fists. Fists are actually
fingers only.
There was actually one time my art class got held up for like an hour after class because somebody stole an X-Acto knife, and the art teacher wouldn't let us go because X-Acto knives are scary. And then like some kid was just like, I have it, I'm sorry, and we didn't get lunch. It was a really bad day. He really wanted that knife.
Yeah. Hi, Mango. Welcome to the stream, Mango. I see you over there.
Hi, Mango.
I didn't want to interrupt the art fight shenanigans, but we see you. It's June. It's Pride visibility, right?
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. It's June. We're here.
Yeah, you're being perceived, Mango. I don't know if you've realized this, but perception.
Perception check is passed.
Happy Wrath.
Happy Wrath. That's right. But we're so glad. We're so glad that people are here. I see a few extra people who are coming in, and we're just at the top of the 6:30. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get started with this kind of sort of slightly planned Q&A adventure. Beth, of course, just completed season 2.5 last month. Beth, how do you feel about the whole thing?
Pretty good. It didn't go how I thought it would, but that's a given. But
it never does.
No. Generally pretty proud of it. I really liked how a lot of the characters came out. I do wish I had handled the ending a little bit better, but like overall, I thought it was a nice way to end season 2 because I've really missed them.
Yeah,
I thought it was fantastic. I'm sorry, Max. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
No, I completely agree. It was a really great time. I had a blast with it. It was a really nice send-off. We clocked in at just under 100 episodes between season 2 and season 2.5, which is, quite the labor of love. And I'm very glad that we were able to do this. By the way, if anyone's curious, I think Will is napping right now.
It's true. They might pop in later.
Surprise visit.
Oh, surprise Will.
Oh, surprise Will. Look out for the surprise Will, who might be joining our stream a little later on. Well,
Well, wait,
let's not.
let me ask
Huh?
you guys a question before we dive into it.
Oh, shit. I wasn't prepared for this.
What was all right? What was both of your favorite moments in 2.5?
Do you have an answer, Max?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Which is, I'm gonna say favorite experience just relative to Anderson because obviously that's who I played. But my favorite moment was lying to the guard at heaven and then getting like pulled into a torture chamber because he lied about his age and what what he was most afraid of.
Yeah, their whole like foundations of truth and principality, and then turn around and just psychological warfare. That was my favorite thing about Heaven. So fucked up they were.
Yeah, heaven was a fun time. That is definitely my favorite moment. What about you, Mark?
I think oh god, it's really hard because like that all of 2.5 was really really fun, but I think my favorite moment was probably just a quote, and that was she turned to dust and flew to town. And that's just I think that encapsulates like all of 2.5. It's just perfect.
That was a really good running bit that we had there. Definitely one of the highlights. So we have some. Most of these I feel like are just addressed specifically to Beth, but I am going to start off with one that is. I think it's something that we can all answer, which is from Maple. Thank you, Maple. Which is, what is everyone's favorite new 2.5 character?
Ooh. There were so many good ones. I gotta say, I'm really torn between two. One I expected, one I did not. My leading favorite was probably Sammy, because I spent a lot of time thinking about Sammy and how to play them, and their backstory and stuff, which we didn't get to get into too much, but like I had so much written about Sammy. But Francois and what happened to Francois, I like Max came to me with Francois and he's like, I'm doing this. And I was like, why are you doing this in my serious, sad adventure? What do you do? Okay. And I, especially what he ended up turning out to be he was like half French the whole time, but he turned into one of those little Italian wine holders. I don't know. I can't pick between the two of them.
Both all of the above are fantastic choices. And just very quickly, Emmy wanted to contribute Dandara the Squeakle and Legendary and Francois Purple Heart.
I fucking
Legendary, I sort of was like, Beth, you should have Boo be obsessed with Legendary. And actually, I wanna say 2.5 Boo might be my favorite, like not new character, but newly like conscious, like more evolved child character. That was a lot of fun. Loved Boo.
I agree with that.
I should have gone before you both because you Francois and Boo were my two favorites, so I don't really have anything to offer here. I really do enjoy a good Francois like character. Just off the walls, cannot predict. I love it.
Yeah, the combination chef, babysitter, spaceship pilot,
wine bottle holder,
child kidnapping.
I think that one moment was my all-time favorite. Where are my kids? I was losing it.
It was I felt like I was handed that on a silver platter, and I loved the way that came out. Speaking of kids, Beth,
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I have here is a little bit of more just an answer, less of a question, but it's something that you wanted to talk about because
Yeah.
have spent the Echo Room characters. Sorry, ADHD moment. The Echo Room characters were also incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh man, can I say something about the Echo Rooms really fast?
Yeah.
They got more developed, but initially, they were entirely based off of like this very stupid little wombat creature. And I literally just couldn't stop thinking about him. I was like, black hole wombat, full of nothingness and everything. And then I was like, I'm just gonna put him in there, and maybe if they're dickholes enough, I'll just punish them with this evil, weird, nebulous space creature. And wouldn't you know it, Anderson? You can always count on Anderson.
Yeah, I always I find myself like looking for things in the stories you tell, like the Bloodied Past and the Dissolution of Order, that like, is this something that I could expand on in the future? I don't know if I could, but the echo chambers would definitely be like on my list of things. Slight pivot. The question ish concept here, Beth, is that you have spent a lot of time thinking about the future of your characters and their families, including after 2.5. You have like a full roadmap.
I do.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the rest of the future children?
Yes. Okay. So this is Rivers specific, and well, Fungalstein by nature, because I can't speak for Phoebe, and I do know about. I do know that Cornelius and Nancy end up adopting like a ton more children, but I don't know their specifics. But for this like small group of all of the Rivers kids, and Tobert and Cheese's daughter Dahlia. So basically, after the events of 2.5 and Samicus, Atticus cannot have children anymore. So she and Lily just do not have any more children. So they're twins. That's it. Anderson, being Anderson, literally a year after the events of 2.5, accidentally has a third child, which they end up naming Foster, who I think turns out to be non-binary in the future. It is the one child that doesn't look exactly like Anderson, because Boo is almost like a carbon copy of him, and then B is damn near the same, like very dark hair, the same like River's eyes that all the kids get. But Foster comes out looking like Rose, has like the soft pink hair, maybe has the green eyes, I don't know, but looks a little bit different. I didn't really plan much about Foster other than that they exist, but when the kids kind of grow up, Boo takes on, he's 10, 11 years older than everyone, takes on the big brother role of kind of keeping everyone out of trouble. Finch and Scout, Atticus's twins, are pretty stupid. They're really fun, really silly. They can be serious when they need to be, but for the most part, they just follow B around, who is very much like the de facto leader of the group. And my big thing with B that I absolutely love all the time is Max and I have talked at length, for no reason, about how the Rivers and the Fungalsteins, their lineage dates back like probably a good 3 generations of this failed romantic affection. You've got Tobert being in love with Anderson and that not working out at all. We never really touched on it, but the reason Atticus and Anderson and Tobert are all orphans in the first place is because Atticus and Anderson's father, his name was Duke, they called him Dookie, was in love with Tobert's father, Jobert, and Jobert wanted to take Tobert out of the mob. Fucking Dookie was like, no way, planned a fake assassination attempt to get him to stay. The mom found out and was like, how dare you do this, and then planned another fake assassination attempt, which turned into an actual assassination attempt. So all of that to say is that it just literally goes back through the generations of one Tobert, or one Fungalstein and one River being in love, and it being very one-sided, until they got out of the mob, in which case Dahlia Fungalstein and B. Rivers end up becoming girlfriends and definitively get married down the line, thus ending the Fungalstein Rivers curse. And big time, sometime in the future, the Atticus's twins, B and Boo, and probably Dahlia by extension, have just formed this little like mystery crime fighting team. I don't know if their parents know about it, but I always thought it would be really funny if they all just kind of run around trying to secretly solve magical mysteries, and their parents are like, "Stop it! Stop! Stop! Stop!"
There's a great piece of art, Beth. I don't remember if you've ever posted it. You actually drew Atticus and Anderson's parents.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if it was finished or if it was something you ever posted, but definitely something I think you should break out of the vault, because that's a good one. Yeah, Beth like concocted this whole like 3-way failed assassination, like pizza delivery that turned into a real assassination. It was like it was very comedic for something that would end up traumatizing a generation of people, just like a series of unfortunate events that I remember very fondly. Now, speaking of Tobert and the Fungalsteins, that's actually a pretty good segue into the next question here. This one's from Mango, which is, does cheese ever get found?
Oh, oh man, I don't know if I can answer that. I think you're going to just have to wait and see on that one.
You might have to just wait and see on that one. There might be, yeah, it's like I've made this joke like 3 times. It's like the Marvel ending credit text where it's like, cheese will return.
Probably.
Cheese is probably gonna come back.
There's I don't want to say any more than this, but just because we are answering a little bit of questions, I'll just give a little bit of like a tiny spoilery hint. Is just that like cheese wasn't originally meant to be anything other than like the next door neighbor, but because everyone loves him and we all fucking love him, cheese, there's a lot more to cheese than is currently out and available. That's all I'll say.
There might be more to cheese than meets the eye. It might be Gouda.
Gouda behind the eye. Ew.
Ew. No.
I'm sorry.
That's awful. I was gonna do this in a different order, but I'm so offended by that. I'm actually gonna shift.
Oh,
Mark,
fair.
I got a question for you here.
Okay.
This one's from Beth. This question is from Beth.
Thanks, Beth.
But I'm gonna ask it. Mark, how did Phoebe change between 2 and 2.5, and what's in store for her after 2.5?
That's a really good question. Obviously, Phoebe became extremely wealthy between 2 and 2.5. She's like a gazillionaire.
I love that for Phoebe.
She made up her own economy, basically. I don't know if she wrote any more books. I can't say that definitely, because maybe she was just a one-hit wonder. But she definitely did. She did a good thing with that first book. She didn't really change too much. I hate to disappoint, but like she really didn't change a whole lot between 2 and 2.5. If anything, like she regressed a little bit in the sense that she definitely held grudges a little more. As you could see with Griffin, she wasn't so like easy to let things go. But that's really it. That's it. I can't really say too much on that. I'm sorry.
I loved Phoebe. 2.5 Phoebe was so, especially the dynamic shift I was not expecting, was Phoebe being the most mature one of the group. I fucking loved that. Like Phoebe, especially in the beginning.
I definitely felt like she didn't mature too much, but there were some instances like the Red Velvet, where everybody was like, we're gonna break in, or we're gonna like push past these guys, and Phoebe was like, I'm past that, guys. I'm not with that anymore.
I grew up, everybody. I turned 30. I'm not doing that anymore.
I think that Anderson probably was a bad influence on Cornelius.
I agree.
In terms of adventuring shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I think Phoebe just like wasn't down for another like Rivers to come along and be a bad influence, and was like, nah, let's get out of here.
Phoebe moving away definitely did some good, because Anderson wasn't able to, influence her.
Can you imagine if Phoebe had stayed in Sinzaba and done the daily found family nonsense that Atticus, Anderson, Cornelius, Nancy, Rose, and Lily all participated in, and just like hung out constantly, and all became weirder for it.
She'd be so bad. She would have been so bad in 2.5.
She would have been like Anderson, but the opposite. Like, wouldn't like Anderson was like 24/7. Are you order? No, fuck right off. If Phoebe would have been like, so who are you? Where you going? Puts hand in pocket. What's in here? All right, like takes off.
Wait, puts hand in the other person's pocket or her pocket?
No, like their pocket, like feeling around. What's going on in here? And then just leaves. Like, I honestly, Phoebe, with more confidence and ease as an adult, but also doing the absolute most out-of-pocket nonsense. Like, that's what I was expecting for Phoebe, but it makes sense because she left, first of all, Sinzaba, but let alone just Connecticut, so all the weirdness is contained there. So she went, not that far, but New York is just less magical, truly.
It cleared it in a way, all the pollution cleared her head. all the car fumes from walking around New York cleared her head a little bit.
Crash. Love it.
Those concrete. Oh, here's a fun one. Beth, I'm asking this, and again, I know the answer to this, but I'd like you to speak on this. This one's from Max, not me, Max, the other, the good Max, the better Max, some might say, which is, when planning an arc where you, Beth, take over as GM, how much do you work with Max, behind the scenes? Like, is there any collaboration and conversation about the lore and where the story is going so that you don't trip each other's GMing plans? And if so, how much?
Ooh, that is a really good question. And for both the Dissolution of Order and the Bloodied Past, there was a lot more thought going into it than like the silly ones I had done in the past, like for like the Misadventures of Bread. That one required no thought process in advance. But the other two, basically for the Bloodied Past, what was most concerning was time travel and what that would do to the lore and the story and the world itself. So I tried to come at it with like an idea, and then anything that Max, as like a creator of this world, should know in terms of like anyone else can be able to access this, or this is a massive, huge power that has like reality altering means. I went to him and was like, here's basically what I have. Here's the least spoilery version I can give it to you. Do you think you can work with this? And for the Dissolution of Order, one of the things I really focused on was somewhere in like mid-season, Max, you said that you had no desire to write Heaven because you weren't sure how to like not just make it a classic Christian combo for our show. And I was like, fair. So I thought about, between season 1 and now season 2, we've done so much stuff with hell, perceiving like, the perception of it being bad, even if we were just trying to help people regardless. How much of that would Heaven ignore? So I got to thinking about it, and that devolved into basically recreating Heaven. And at one point, Max and I sat down and together made, designed the leaders of Heaven, the King of Heaven, Abner, and the Queen of Hell, Orpheosa.
That's very generous. That is a very generous interpretation of you basically pitching these celestial beings to me and being like, this is what we have. This is the lore. These guys are in charge. Any questions?
And he was like, nope. All right, let's move on.
I was like, yeah, sure. Great. I guess these are the deities that we have now.
I tried to make Heaven specifically by making it small enough I guess usable enough that I could basically use half of it for my purposes. And if Max ever wanted to go back to Heaven, there's a whole second half of it that we never got to explore because I purposely had Calamity snap it in half and noted that. So there's a whole second part of Heaven. I was just like, it's a big question mark on purpose. But everything else, down to story-wise, I didn't tell him anything. I mostly just told him that I was going to destroy reality a lot, and it made him very nervous for season 3. But I also had every intention of fixing it, so I was like, it won't be that bad.
Yeah, I was. I don't want to say nervous, but of course, like, Beth was working on 2.5 at the same time that I was working on 3, and we've been talking about 3 for over a year now, since like last April, if you guys can believe that. And you know, when you hear, hey, I'm going to destroy the world real quick, that was that was definitely a little bit concerning, because I needed the world after the year 2030 to still be around. One of the other interesting parts of the kind of cross GM creative process is that Beth would just lie to me.
I did, yes, actually.
Pretty constantly. So you would have actual genuine like spoilers and like story events that Beth needed to actually make sure that I was aware of, make sure that they worked and fit. That was probably about a third of the information that I received. And then the other 2/3 was like the most back ass, where it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. She sent me a picture of like a hill with a smiley face once, and was like, this place is gonna be everything. This is happy perfect. And oh man, you're gonna hear a lot about it in season 2.5. There was a lot with the moths.
Yeah.
Beth kept trying to trick me into thinking that the moths were played a much larger role than their non-existent their non-existent season 2.5 experience. And also Dandy. Dandy was also pitched to me as the final villain of 2.5 at one point.
Was Dandy not the final villain of 2.5?
Interesting thing about Dandy, which in the heat of the moment I totally forgot to mention. Dandy I don't know if she 100% did, because that's up to Max, but I had absolutely every intention of having Dandy get the fuck out of heaven. Like, when fucking heaven was dumping magic evil water all over the place, what was stopping absolutely anybody from just water sliding their way down to earth and being like, I'm a ghost? So anyway, that's what I would have done with Dandy if I hadn't been preoccupied with the 3 of you guys like harassing the gate guard. I think his name was Carmichael, because I was like, Michael, and that was it. Carmichael's the name. Good enough for me. Because
looks at a car looks at Michael, Carmichael.
One other thing to note about me blatantly lying to Max, what actually the reason I did it is because when Max is DMing, I will spend the better part of our conversations near daily just like spewing absolutely every possible theory and idea I can think of. And sometimes I'm right, often I'm not. And so when it was my turn, he was guessing, except he was getting really close to a lot of things, and it was making me increasingly nervous. So I was just like, I'm gonna lie to this man. So I told him and implied for months that I was going to have Atticus A not be a part of this endeavor at all. That was my big thing, is I didn't want anyone to think that Atticus was involved. I was like, she just had a baby. She's off to the side. She's not here. She's not even gonna fucking participate. And secondly, I said I was going to have Boo get kidnapped, which is why I had that fake-out initial confrontation with Boo in the street that Max Anderson lost his heavy rain mine over. That was just a callback to the many months of scaring the shit out of Max as Anderson. Like, please don't take my son. Please don't take my son. Please don't do that.
I thought Boo was going to get hit by a car. I thought Boo was going to get kidnapped. I was like, for all of the shit that was thrown at me before we started 2.5, I was extremely surprised by the content of it. I had no idea like by the time we did episode 1, I was like, I know nothing. I'm not going to be able to guess any of this. I don't know where Beth's going. It was a wild ride. But yeah, so Beth just kind of lied to me a lot for like months.
But
and
only
that was
only about the story plot content. For like the base game lore, like establishing facts within the universe of Tincast, I always tried to make sure that we agreed on that beforehand.
yeah, you would definitely do that. I would give input if there was something that I disagreed with. The Max Box says this is unhinged. this is just how it is. This is just the everyday. This is a normal creative process. The other thing that I want to kind of say on this that we touched on briefly is that again, Beth did tell me she was going to destroy the world, and so there's a lot of stuff that was not a part of season 3 that is now because of 2.5, and you'll see some probably some familiar faces. There will be callbacks. I mean, frankly, it was I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought.
Was it helpful to have me destroy the world, I'm hoping? A little bit?
There were aspects of the story I already had planned that fit better because you destroyed the world.
Nice. Like No Jersey.
Well, I don't know about No Jersey, but there might be a certain town that people are going to get introduced to in early season 3 that was already like it was built because something else was destroyed, but the dissolution of order gave it a reason to be destroyed. So I think there's just going to be a lot of stuff that can now be it can now be put in the hands of the dissolution of order. It's like, oh, remember when reality collapsed for a little bit there? Yeah, that happened. The remains of Blissington. No, Mango. Blissington's gone. Blissington Falls is no more. That town is sunk. It is sinkety dinkety sunk. Emmy says, bring the old Bill Hicks bit to life. Have LA fall into the ocean and be left with Arizona Bay. Don't worry, Emmy. We already have Stink Beach, California. Looking forward to that in season 3.
Oh, man. Our writing is just top tier.
Yeah. Mark, did you come up with Stink Beach? Was that your idea?
I don't think I could take credit for that.
Didn't we
I don't know who that was.
I think that was just someone, the three of us, as we were recording, we were talking about California, and someone was just like, what a stinky beach. And then that's what happened.
What a stinky beach.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that stuff like No Jersey, I would expect to see some stuff on that in season 3. And other things too that we'll talk less on right now because I'm gonna start spewing too much. Mango asks, what inspired Heaven's design for you the most?
Ooh, two things. One, the desire to move away from the classic ideas of heaven, of it being, I still wanted it to be in the sky. I kind of wanted to lean towards more of a space theme because of, one, I love space, and two, all of the space jokes. And like the vaporwave neon aesthetic is also one of my personal favorites. And I was like, what if I just did neon heaven? And when I was getting the photos together, I was like, oh, this is actually sick as fuck. And I just kind of went absolutely as heavy-handed, hamming it up, neon everything as feasibly possible.
Yeah. For people who aren't in the Discord, Beth, would you be able to touch on the space jokes?
Oh, yeah. Quick? Yes. All right. So as season 2 was ending and we were moving into season 3, just beginning to touch on it in the Discord, everyone started talking about what the theme for season 3 would be, and space came up, and everybody, and I mean just about everybody except for this Max, GM Max, was like, yeah, it's space time. It's we're going to space. We're gonna have a galactic adventure. We're gonna fly around planets, asteroids, all that jazz, cosmos, everything. And Max, for months, has been like, there is no space in season 3. There is no space in season 3. And I want you to all to remember one thing. How many months did I lie to Max about 2.5? The space is coming.
No, wait a second. No.
That's all the time we have on season 3.
Oh my god, this is awful. We're not going to be able to air this. This is not good. Maple asks, we know that life is one of Order's 5 parts. Who are the others? And I am just gonna real quick, if there are any other questions that we want to address today, we still do have a little bit more time that we had set aside for this. So if you have anything else, I'll pick it from the chat.
But yes, okay, the aspects of Order, I'll be super honest with you. I didn't 100% remember all of them, because by the end I was going so fast that I didn't, and I was hoping that, they'd all get put back together, that I didn't super build on them. So the ones I had planned were life, death, and nature. And then the other 2 were, I think one of them was adaptation. It might have also been evolution. And the 5th one was either morality, mortality, or some kind of basis on humanity. And those would be the building blocks for the order of things. Being able to fix things, the creation, the newness, and absolutely the destruction of things would come from fusing with Calamity, who also, assumedly, would be able to break down into 5 small parts if anyone ever wanted to do that. But they were just meant to be designed to be the aspects of what would allow him to be the way that he was.
Would you say that the parts of Order are actually just kind of like the concepts in object-oriented programming?
I don't know what that means, but I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, well, you have inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction,
yeah,
and encapsulation.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you just added life like as the fifth one, you'd be like, oh, order-oriented programming.
What was that second one?
Polymorphism?
Yeah, that one. He's definitely a polygon.
What? This has been a little bit of computer science with that.
Sorry, everyone.
Oh, this is a good one. Let me click real quick. What kinds of games would the characters play?
Well, I'll divvy that towards you. What kind of games would Phoebe play?
Oh, towards me. I mean, that's tough. Because I want to say that Phoebe would probably play the same games that I'd play. You know, like Gacha Classic, Fallout, BioShock, Poppy's Playtime.
Oh,
you know,
no!
Gotta keep it current.
My God.
No, do not. I'm no. That's a joke. Phoebe doesn't play Poppy's Playtime. She definitely just plays like classic, like Fallout 1, Fallout 2, like older games.
Yeah, so both like.
But that's it. Like, just Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. That's all she plays. She's not adventurous with the games. She's like, I know what I like, and that's it.
I love the
3. Get out of here.
Fuck that. I love the idea of Griffin coming home one day and he's like, Phoebe, I want to be like close friends again. I bought a Fallout 76. I got a copy for you, a copy for and Phoebe, like the most disdainful, like, what the fuck kind of look. Like, that is not Fallout 1 or 2, and therefore I won't be playing it.
Phoebe, but like, here's the thing. Phoebe would absolutely, like, if Griffin brought home a game and was like, we should play this, Phoebe would be like, okay. She would do it. She would absolutely
Aw,
do it.
Phoebe's a good sister.
And that's how Phoebe got like horribly into Civilization 6 for
It
like
just never stopped.
one more turn.
What
Well,
what about
what about
Anderson?
I was about to say, what about Atticus?
We'll come back to Atticus. What about Anderson?
Well, we actually kind of touched on it because Anderson goes through his couch dad phase where he's like couch surfing in it's really just Atticus, right? Because Phoebe basically moves out right at the end of season 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole bit confused me because fucking Phoebe left and was like, "Can you keep my room together?" And then Anderson needed to move in, and so Atticus was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna keep Phoebe's room the way it is, but Anderson can like hang out in there, you know, while he's getting his marriage worked on. Obviously, not expecting it to last for 7 years." And then you know Phoebe like that wanted her room kept like that, so Atticus isn't gonna fucking change it. And then Anderson just sleeps on the couch for 7 years. He like won't let himself use the bedroom. Like I talked about this at length with Max several times because I love Anderson and I wanted him to be happy. And so the fact that he slept on a couch for 7 years, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Well,
I want to go ahead, Max. Go ahead. I'll say
no,
what
no,
I say
no,
after you.
no. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, add two things. First off, Phoebe absolutely forgets that she said that. Like as soon as she leaves, she does not care. She said that as like a passing thought.
Atticus like swearing to you on the spot that she'd never do that to you because you're like a sister to her and doesn't change the room.
And like years later, this is brought up, and Phoebe feels horrible for the like chronic back problem she's caused Anderson for sleeping on a couch for 7 years.
That's because Anderson
Yeah.
his marriage.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's his fault, but like Phoebe feels bad about the couch bit.
Fair.
Yeah, it's so Anderson sleeping on the couch for 7 years is, I think, in one part it's a pretty crummy like self-punishment, and I say crummy because like you're sleeping on the couch, like is that a real punishment? But it is definitely sort of like a self-inflicted punishment. Two is because even as the years go on, no part of him thinks that it's going to be much longer, which goes into 3, the persistence of it, which is Anderson's not like, he's almost done. He's going to keep going with this until he's done, and he's not going to stop. So that's those were the 3 reasons for Anderson sleeping on the couch for 7 years. What games he would play is something we sort of touched on, I think, in the beginning of episode 2 of the Dissolution of Order, which is during his couch dad phase, he kind of like goes back and binges like pop culture. Just tons and tons and tons of pop culture and older things that he missed out on when he was a child because he was in the mob. So I really like imagine him playing a lot of like GameCube games. I could see like the kind of stuff he would have missed out on when he was like 6, 7, 8. So just there's probably like just like a beat up GameCube that's, you know, approaching 30 years old. Wow, that's scary to think about. That's going to be here before we know it. Definitely, I think just like older GameCube games. And one time he tried Fortnite.
How? Here's my question to you: did he like it? Did he like Fortnite?
He would never admit it, but he was kind of into Fortnite. He did a duo with Boo.
He probably liked it until they took building out.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Also, 2 out of
No, I don't have I'm just going to jump to this question because I see it. I don't have a good Shrek impression, and I'm not going to try. I'm sorry.
2 out of 2 River siblings back problems being Phoebe's fault is the funniest thing I've read all fucking day. That is so funny. Phoebe's just ruining the river's back. It's true.
Keep her away from Boo.
Boo is like scared. Like every time Aunt Phoebe comes into town, she's just like, "Come here, I learned a massage," and Boo is like, "Don't touch me." What games would Atticus play? I think Atticus doesn't, like, kind of like Anderson, doesn't play games for a lot as a kid. So when she got older and when Anderson started his couch dad phase, she kind of watched him. Didn't like things like Heavy Rain or any of the really like grungy PS1, PS2 games, but Nintendo games, anything on the GameCube. Atticus loves that shit. If anyone's ever played Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube, I think Atticus sinks like 200 hours into it. And everyone's like, Atticus, there are other racing games. You ever tried Mario Kart? And she's like, no, Kirby fucking Air Ride. And just keeps it going.
Yeah, and you have all of those achievements you can unlock in Kirby Air Ride as well. So
oh yes,
it's just like hours and hours of content for Atticus to enjoy.
I don't know if you're being serious, but you're right. Actually, there's a lot of records you have to set to unlock a lot of shit.
I'm being dead serious.
Oh, thank God! What a good game that is.
It's a good game. This is a Kirby Air Ride appreciation stream here now. Why so green? Oh, that's another Shrek. That's another little Shrek gag. Here's a good one. If you could play any of the 2.5 NPCs as a player, who would you pick?
Ooh.
Who would you grab from my colorful cast of characters, and you would absorb their personality into yourself?
Like anybody in 2.5 or anybody new in 2.5?
It just says let's just say anyone in 2.5.
Okay. I don't have an answer yet.
Fuck, that's a good. I keep thinking back to who is it? I mean, they'd be a terrible like player character, but Ego and Blasphemy. I think playing either of them would be so fucking fun. Like the absolute wild shit that they go through, and then just the watching them like have a stream of elves come in being like danger, 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 and them just being like, you're not supposed to be in here, slaughters them. Like they're so wild.
There's I was actually also gonna say, more from a GM perspective, well, Ego and Blasphemy, I just kind of want to like pose this to everyone, to my dear sweet co-stars and the dear sweet listeners, which is that Ego and Blasphemy basically did a war crime, and literally Fate sent in all of her minions. I don't know if Fate has any minions left. Probably not. They might all be dead. And these two gate-kept them to death in a time of crisis. And actually, something that I've thought about heavily is, what are the repercussions of Ego and Blasphemy basically committing cosmic war crimes? And that might be something that we get to look at some more.
I mean, you have that, and on top of that, the second time anyone tries to actively use a door, they also actively try to stop them.
Oh, that's right. And talking down to their superiors. They did that too. So,
yeah, I didn't realize that in the moment, just because Ego and Blasphemy were like thought of, but they weren't super developed. They were kind of off the cuff in terms of playing them. And I was just like, they take their job seriously, but they're not good at it. And that's what I went with.
Yeah. No, I think the only elf that might have survived the dissolution of order is probably Ted.
I think I specified that one or two elves did make it back, or she didn't send all of them, so they wouldn't wipe out every single elf, but it was like almost every elf. I think one came back and was like purposely beat up like a messenger or something, and that was after the door had been opened.
Yeah, and he also like disappeared like 3 seconds later.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and actually maybe he
Yeah.
did die. Oops. Oh well.
Yeah. Mark, what season 2.5 NPC would you like absorb into yourself?
I don't like the way you put that, but I'll answer the question anyway. I'm gonna I'm gonna go a completely like different direction of where you guys are going. You remember the funeral home guy, the one who got to witness the leg going through the coffin?
Oh, you mean not Dendare the Squeakquel, Ditchard.
What was it? No. It was the one who owned the. Was it the one who owned the funeral home? There was somebody there with us. Was there not?
Henry Lane.
Yeah,
Henry.
Yeah, Henry Lane, who, like, when because he saw his mom's legs clipping through reality, thought Samicus did that, but it was just reality breaking down. And so when you guys approached, he was the guy who stuck his head out the door and was like, Phoebe, Cornelius, Anderson. Anderson goes, do I know you? And he goes, not really, fuck off.
That was a good moment.
Purely based off of that reaction, I thought it was not based off of that reaction, but I thought it was somebody who was, just like they were just there, a side character, and purely based off of the reaction of like, I'm not dealing with this. I wanted to be them because I want to see what goes on in that funeral home.
A funeral home in Sensiba would be like a hell of a side story to tell.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I want to see what goes on there.
Like the shit that like funeral owner man would get up to.
The things he would see. The things he would see. The people he would have to deal with. Just absolutely. Like I'm having like war flashbacks on his behalf right now. Like wow.
So I would be the person who owns that funeral home.
Okay. Max, who would you be?
Who would I be? Shoot, I guess my answer of what characters would I steal for my own devices doesn't quite suffice here. Who would I steal? I would steal maybe Carmichael. I really liked Carmichael's vibes.
Oh, the gate guy who was just like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, like he was just like, here are these like stupid goober humans. They're like driving up. They're like honking at the gate. they're just like, hey, open the gate. Like he's just like so no nonsense. I like that, of course, and I think he was also just like a really good representation of what we were about to experience in heaven, and like a very good like, oh, this is not like a happy-go-lucky place. This is like actually kind of, this guy's kind of a dick.
Oh, heaven was so fun. Really quick, and then we can move on. I do want to alter my answer a little bit because I kind of forgot about Dendare the Squeakquel, and actually, I think playing Dendare the Squeakquel would just be. Do I want to play her? No, because of that voice. But do I think it would be fun to see how she goes about her life? Yes. Yes, I do.
You pitched me something like months ago. I have no idea if you remember it, but you pitched me something where Dendare the Squeakquel was married to twins who might have been a conjoined.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wait. So let me explain this really fast. So this was when I spent a lot of time harassing Max to give me Anderson and Atticus's mind powers. I have been asking for that since around after Sandland. I think after Sandland was up, and I think like a little bit after some of their shenanigans were up, I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if they got some mind powers? And then I thought about what would be the worst case fucking scenario of that, because Max was stressing that some of the magic in Sensiba is straight up a curse, like mermaids. All of them are curses. And I was like, oh, interesting. what if you had the same power that Atticus and Anderson had, but it's a curse? So instead of being able to just constantly hear each other in your mind, you can't help but have the same mind. So you think the same thoughts. And can I say the names of these people, Max?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the Fingy twins is what we called them.
I forgot about their name.
Their names were the Fingy twins, and it was like these like really creepy looking like a girl with like mousy brown braids and a very flat like no emotion face, and her brother standing right next to her with the same mousy brown hair and the same like emotionless face. And their thing was that they would always be touching like fingertips together no matter what, because that would be how their connection works. I don't know. They were really fucking weird and creepy, and I was like, what if they just what if they just married Dendera the Squeakquel? And she was married to like, she went for one of them, but it's a 2-for-1 deal, so she's married to both of them.
You can't be with one of them. You have to be with both.
You can't separate them. They have anxiety.
I don't remember what their names were. I think they had actual names. I think one of them started with a Z.
I believe it was Raffi and Zulu.
It was Raffi and Zulu Fingy. Oh my god. I don't remember if we talked about this in the Discord, but we did float the notion that, Henry Lane's wife is never revealed. What if he married and, procreated with a moth? And so you have fucking magic baby Adelaide Lane, who's definitely at least half demon because Stolas just straight up magicked her into existence. She has a kid. Henry Lane is a quarter demon. But then he has children with a full demon, so now his children are 3/4 demons, and I think that's why they sound like that.
It would check out, I guess. I don't know. I have no desire. I don't know who Henry Lane created those devil children with, and I have no desire of finding out. So it could have been a moth. It's
yeah, sure. Procreate with a moth.
There's oh, sorry. Do a clean of that. Yeah.
Procreate with a stop it. Can't do it seriously. Procreate with a moth.
There we go.
That's a good clean one.
Clip that one.
Can I get the cropped version of that, guys?
The crop top version.
Can I get that on a crop top?
Well, I think we are just about at time here. I think we've answered a lot of great questions. I'm gonna self inject myself here real quick and just remind everyone, next week is the start of season 3. And it's going to be a brand new adventure. It's going to be your dear sweet pals, me, Beth, Mark, and Will, who did indeed nap for this entire stream.
That sounds like such a nice time.
We're gonna be back with a new adventure. And just to completely set expectations straight, and you'll probably hear this throughout the next 7 days. We're actually starting with episode 0, which we haven't done before. And episode 0 is my dog is freaking out and is choosing a bad time to do it as I'm trying to as I'm trying to pitch here. We're gonna spend the first week talking about the world, the characters, and the setting for the entire episode, so we don't just like dive in and we only spend like 15-20 minutes talking about characters and it's like, all right, here's some story. So stay tuned. Season 3, episode 0 on Monday, June 19th.
I hope everyone's excited.
Everyone's excited too.
I don't know when it'll come out, but at some point this week, I am going to be dropping a playlist for my character, kind of like what we did for 2.5. I don't know if anyone else wants to do one for their character, but I've been working on a Cosmo playlist for a hot minute, so at some point this week, I will just drop a link to that.
Yeah, there are lots of good things to come out. As soon as I have the 3.5 art, 3.5.
Oh,
You're doing that already?
As soon as
Wow.
as soon as I have the 3 art, I'll put together the theme, the intro sequence for that, so you can hopefully look forward to that later this week as well. And to sign off for this wonderful Q&A, thank you all for attending and for spending some of your evening here with us. But Absolutely Mango has just the perfect question for us to sign off with. What are your thoughts on clown husbandry?
I'd date a clown.
You would date a clown?
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, that's all I need to do. Everyone enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be in touch soon with more season 3 details. Bye. Drink lots of water. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.